top 10 favourite things from The Hobbit 3D. Right, I've put it away. Right, number 10 is when Wizard Radagast the Brown with his Rosgobel rabbits act as a decoy for Gandalf. Gandalf and the dwarves get to Rivendell. Yeah, it's at 1 hour 17 minutes in the movie, and it's only a 3-minute sequence, but it's just brilliant in 3D. It's it's when Radagast acts as a decoy for Gandalf and the dwarves. It's just prior to them finding the cave, which leads them to Rivendell, like a chasm amongst a few rocks, which drops down to the pathway, if you will, which takes them to Rivendell. Right, it's just that 3-minute segment there when Radagast is acting as decoy, because there's a pack of dwarves on walks hunting down Gandalf and the dwarves, and Radagast, as I say, stands in and acts as a decoy, misleads them, sends them here, there and everywhere across his plane of land, being led by his Rosgobel rabbits. And it's a great 3D sequence, watching Radagast getting chased here, there and everywhere by these really vicious orcs, these even more vicious, with these even viciouser wargs. Right, that's number 10 favourite. Number 9 favourite part, it's the opening credits to the movie. It's with the Warner Brothers logo blending into the New Line Cinema logo, which then blends into the MGM logo. It's right at the beginning of the movie, only lasts for 38 seconds, but it's my number 9 favourite part of the movie. Sequence. It's a fantastic sequence. They always are. The production logos at the beginning of the 3D movies, they're always in 3D. They're always in 3D, and they're always fantastic. Yeah, it's my 9th favourite part of this movie. Number 8. It's when we're shown the interiors of the Kingdom of Erebor right at the beginning of the movie, when Elder Bilbo is narrating for the punter at home. So the punter gets when the movie is narrating, if you will, the part of the movie to educate the punter as to how the Kingdom of Erebor came about, and how it was in its heyday, how glorious it was. Bilbo is the guise for that, and whilst he's narrating that in the movie, we're shown it's about just over 5 minutes, no, just under 4 minutes. It is 4, 5, 6. No, it's 5 minutes. Yeah, just under 5 minutes worth of footage. We're shown the Kingdom of Erebor's interiors. And we're shown the montage of clips how Erebor, the kingdom, became, as I say, and it's fantastic in 3D. It's just 3D really brings out the kingdom and it's all its glory. It's wonderful. That sequence is wonderful in 3D. The 7th favourite part of the movie, as you can see, beginning of the trend here, they are all in 3D. As I have the movies in 3D, I have the basic theatrical 3D versions of all 3 movies, and I'm going to do this for all 3 movies, my top 10 favourite 3D moments in all 3. Starting with this one, The Hobbit, number 7. We're up to number 7, is when we're told via Balin, the dwarf Balin, he's telling Bilbo, he's comforting Bilbo, if you will, at the 45-minute mark of the movie. Again, it's only nice segment, a 4-minute segment. Balin is confidanting Bilbo to say, look, Thorin is the dude to follow here. Have every confidence in Thorin. He is our leader, and he will, and he's likely, and in the sense that he's likely to succeed in the quest here, in his quest. Balin's giving the confidence there needed, and how he does so, he gives the script on the battle, on Thorin's battle with Azog, which tells us how Azog, which goes to tell us how Azog, in which tells us how Azog lost his arm. In a lovely montage, where he's shown, whilst Balin's narrating this, we're shown, the viewer is shown at home, we're shown Thorin battling with Azog at the 45-minute mark in the movie, and it's illustrated in such, in said montage, Azog losing his arm. You'll know what I mean if you've seen the film. It's fantastic in 3D, it's sweeping, it's just mind-blowing, it's the 3D, it just brings it all alive. I've watched the movie in 2D as well, and it fails miserably in 2D. I think the 3D, like with the movie Exodus, Ridley Scott's recent film Exodus, I think the movie's planned to be filmed in 3D, and the 3D works great for it. It's a character, if you will. The movie in itself, the 3D is an element, and it's an integral element to these 3D movies. I find it's pointless people watching these 3D movies, especially if they're filmed in 2D. I think it's ridiculous, and they're coming on the YouTube and they're reviewing these movies, saying just basically, if they're giving it a 3D movie an extra review, which I've heard and seen a lot on YouTube, it just stinks really. If you're going to watch it, if you're going to review a movie and it is a 3D movie, especially if it's made in 3D, give it its due, man, and watch it in 3D. Well, yeah. But anyway, number seventh favourite part in this movie is when we're shown little montage clips describing Azog and Thorin's battle, where Azog loses his arm to Thorin. Just a tiny little montage is at the 45-minute mark. It's only about 4 minutes long. 45. It's 45 minutes to 49 minutes. That one is 4 minutes long. The sixth favourite part of the movie is the Orc King's lair. We're showing the Orc King's lair, and it's the Goblin King's lair. It's the Goblin King's lair. At the 1 hour 51-minute mark, when the dwarves are dropped into the Goblin King's lair, and they're in there for quite some time, they come across the Goblin King, and Goblin King finds that Thorin's got this elvish blade on him, and he flips his lid, and he instantly wishes death upon all of them, and tries to get them all killed by all the goblins, tries to set all the goblins upon them to kill them, but then we've got Gandalf who steps in and does a little trick and assassinate with his wand, and then they escape out of there all in a matter of 1 minute 51 to 2 minutes 17. So it's quite a long segment here, but it's done wonderfully in 3D. The 3D brings out the entirety of the Goblin King's lair. It brings out the whole scale of it. You think 3D wouldn't work on an interior, but it does in this case. It has done with the Erebor, and it did so with the Goblin King's lair. Wonderful. It brought out the lair. It brought it out. The 3D brought it out. Wonderful. It was so enjoyable watching all that section of the movie in 3D. It's just so fantastic the way the 3D brought out just the sheer scale of the lair, and it was wonderful. That's what it did with the Kingdom of Erebor. That's what 3D did for that sequence. It brought out just the sheer scale of the place, and you don't get that. 2D movies cannot achieve that. They don't achieve that. This movie didn't achieve that when I watched it in 2D. That's the number 6 favourite part, the Goblin King's lair. 5th favourite part was when the birds came to rescue the dwarfs when they were caught up the trees, once they were chased up by Azog and his party on his walks, right near the end of the movie at the 2 hour 32 minute mark. I've just put down this little 2-minute section where the birds come and swoop down and scoop up the dwarfs, and then finally manage to collect Gandalf as he finally falls, and then the birds just take them away, rescue them. It's just a simple 2-minute sequence, that, but it's up there. Number 5. It's my 5th favourite part of The Hobbit. It's a wonderful 3D segment. It's absolutely marvellous. Again, just bringing out the sheer scale of events 3D does. It just really does. Just intensifies the viewers. So intensified my viewing experience. Jaw-dropping, absolutely jaw-dropping. Beauty with the 3D so far. The Hobbit, the beauty of the 3D in the Hobbit movie, like with the Exodus, when a movie's been planned in 3D, filmed so, you don't get tired-eyed watching. You don't need to refresh your eyes. You only find you have to do so when a movie's been converted, especially if it's been converted shabbily. You have to say, like I've said in previous videos when I've reviewed 3D movies, you've got to take 10-minute breaks here and there. Say, go in the kitchen, make a cup of tea, go and grab a butty, come back out after 10 minutes, and then carry on watching it. Movies filmed in 3D, I've just mentioned Exodus and The Hobbit. You can watch them right the way through, and you're still getting the same novel factor of the 3D as you were when you first started to watch the movie. Get me there, yeah. Wonderful 3D viewing experience, The Hobbit. 4th favourite part of The Hobbit, getting back to The Hobbit, was at the 2 hour 29 minute mark, just before the birds swoop down, just before my 5th favourite part of the movie. I've got my 4th favourite part of the movie. It was when actually Thorin descends from the trees which have collapsed, descends down and takes on Azog. Just before, as I say, my 5th favourite part of the movie, just before that segment, before the birds swoop down, it's the Azog and Thorin fight. When you see Thorin come down all bold, gets on his hind legs and comes parading down the collapsed tree towards Azog, and they both get eye contact, and then you see Azog on his approach, his body language, on his approach toward Thorin, and they both make that little approach in this, that slow-mo body language toward each other. And again, it's only a 3-minute segment of the movie. The 3D just totally intensified that sequence of events, just made it so much more. Such a rich sequence brought out by the 3D. Just wonderful, wonderful sequence. It's my number 4. Number 3, we have the section of the movie I've written down for Gollum's lair. It was great. You felt, even though there was that sense of suspense, even though I felt there's that sense of suspense with Bilbo approaching within the movie, the sense of the movie, he didn't want to be found, didn't want to be discovered. It was great because even though he was there on his toes, I still felt like he had that sense of distance and space between the two of them, and it just intensified the drama there. And then once finally they do notice each other, you the viewer, you're completely aware that there's that sense of distance, and you know that I still knew that Bilbo still had that like few minutes safety net before Gollum was able to come over and catch up with Bilbo. You don't get any of that when you're watching in 2D. It's just basic black and white when you're watching 2D. The 3D brought so much out. Number 2, second favourite part of The Hobbit in 3D is the Rivendell sunset. The 1 hour 41 minute mark, and it's only a simple 1 minute section of the movie. It's when Milady and Gandalf, when there's a section of the movie where Gandalf, Milady, Christopher Lee's character, and the dude at the Matrix, when they're all there on the pedestal, in like a bandstand type pedestal, and they're all talking amongst themselves, they all get off and leave Milady and Gandalf still there, and they're pondering whilst the sun is setting, and it's this beautiful all-in-one shot, swooping, circular, wide, panning, 360 almost, of just those two finishing off the do, and it's only a simple just over 1 minute long. It is, there's stack segments, and it's absolutely mind-blowing in 3D. I gave it kudos so high on my list because it didn't have to be so. The makers didn't have to, but they did, and it was just complete kudos to them for making such a beautiful 3D segment. Okay, number 1 favourite part of The Hobbit, and it happens to be in 3D because that's the version I watch. It was the bird rescue at 34 minute mark. Simple 3 minute segments. The bird rescue, like I touched on the bird rescue before. In the bird rescue, the birds came to scoop Gandalf and the dwarves up as they were falling from the final edge of the cliff, and when the birds came and rescued them. I put down the second part of the bird rescue, which is my favourite part of the movie. Simply watching the birds swoop down into safety, and again to the backdrop of the sun setting, and as the birds were dropping off, the dwarfs one at a time in turn, and as the camera was following them down from the height of the sky, following them down from behind, etc., etc., there was a part where 2 of the birds felt just filling your screen coming into shot in the 3D, and one didn't sit here feeling that 2 birds were just coming out of your living room in the 360s if you were riding on the back of it in 3D. But it's an extremely intense 3D moment, that minute or so, for 3 minutes while those birds are moving down and releasing. What I thought astounded me with that shot was you simply got a whole sense of you saw and realised that they were birds gripping on to the fragility of the dwarfs. You got the sense of proportion. 3D gave you that proportion. It wasn't just a false King Kong hand in a 1986 movie, a false King Kong hand holding on to a beautiful actress, right? 3D, with the CG technology we have today, it made it all so real. That swooping down of the vents of the beds as they were coming down and releasing each in turn into safety. This gorgeous backdrop, sunset backdrop in 3D, which is marvellous, and I put that up as my number 1, my favourite part of The Hobbit in 3D. there you go. I'm going to come back and do the next 2 movies in turn. Hope you enjoyed that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and include photos that in either to my left or to my right along the way, and you'd have seen them if I had, to help demonstrate. Okay, over and out. See you soon for the next one.